Hey, do you want to play video games for 24 hours straight and raise money for kids?
Yes!
It's a lot of fun. I'm glad that I'm supporting a great cause.
The kids are going to be the future streamers that are going to be extra lifers.
The cool thing is we've been partnering with these guys the last few years, and we've grown a really, really close relationship, and we've actually done stuff directly in the hospital that we can actually see.
My name is Curvy Llama.
We're Jack and Katie.
My name is Good. This isn't Game Over.
Extra Life. Play games. Heal kids.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's stream. We're going to do another reading stream tonight, just something to kind of wrap up the last bit of Spooky Week here, because it is the end of Halloween, the end of All Saints Day today. I have a very good friend who's a regular on our channel. She comes in every once in a while. It's not as often as she used to anymore, but she sent me a short story, very short story, that she wants me to read. And so what I was going to do is I'm going to go ahead and record myself reading that, live stream it for her, if anybody else is interested in reading along, or listening along. That's what I'm here for. I'll turn down that music. It sounds like it's too loud. Then again, that may just be my side. There we go. Turn my voice up just a slight tad. Alright. So we're also still doing our Extra Life thing. We've been doing it all week. Guys, we have hit our record. It's awesome. We were at $110. We went over what we were shooting for. We were shooting for just 100. But now that we've got that, we're kind of sitting pretty. However, throw this up here. There is the link that anybody who's watching, they can hit that link and it will take them directly to the donation page. That donation page will be live for the rest of November. Extra Life doesn't just stop after the 24-hour event is over. You can still keep raising money. Though the big day is this weekend. That will still be open. You can still donate. So we're going to kind of not so much push it, but it's going to be there for people who do want to remain donors or who need a chance to donate and haven't got a chance to donate this week. So, but without further ado, let's get to the story, shall we? Alright, so, like I said, this is a story sent to me by Squishy. She doesn't look like she's here right now, but we're going to go ahead and read it anyway, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this on YouTube so that she can go back and watch it whenever she wants. Backseat driving. Someone has been in my car. As I sit in the driver's seat, my left hand immediately presses the lock button on the door, as my right hand hastily puts the key into the ignition, and turns to the right out of habit, so my car starts up in the cold night. The lights of the cabin dim and shut off, only to be replaced by the onboard dash screen that displays the outside temperature, time, radio station frequency that I last turned into. And last but not least, my average miles per gallon, coupled with how many miles I have in the gas tank until empty. Still, something isn't right. I try not to show it, but I'm scared. I can hear my heart beating in my ears, and it's getting faster along with my breathing. I stare out into the darkness of the front windshield as I try to act as normal as possible and fasten my seatbelt. The seatbelt clicking into place almost made me jump and slam the outside of my wrist into the horn. Lucky for me, I only hit the stereo control on the steering wheel, and the radio station changed the next one on my preset list. I've always hated walking to my car when it's parked on the street late at night. I shouldn't, but I am. I've lived in a safe neighborhood, Even though I've walked these streets so much during the day, my body just gets on edge whenever I walk alone to my car at night. I've developed a certain pattern. No, that's not the right word for it. Certain behaviors to try and ease my tension while I walk to my parked car in the darkness. I like to grip a few keys between my knuckles so the ends stick out like mini claws in case I need to jab them into a person to get them off me. I always walk in the middle of the street with the street lights to my back so I can spot someone else's shadow before they have time to sneak up on me. My eyes and ears are on alert for anything out of the norm so I can start running if I need to. My key fob is always at the ready so I can press the unlock button once and only have the driver's door, my door, unlocked. And after I reach my door, I always get in as fast as I can, shut the door, and lock it like I did tonight. But again, I can't shake the feeling that I'm not alone in my car this time. I did everything like I normally do in my somewhat paranoid state when I got into my car this night, but I felt like somebody... Excuse me, let me restart that paragraph. I did everything like I normally do in my somewhat paranoid state when I got into my car this night, but I felt like someone has been, or possibly still is, in my car. Primarily, I'm the only one who drives my car unless my dad has to move it or make room for the garbage cans on Sunday nights, and I can always tell when he's been in it. The radio volume is lowered and the seat is pushed up a slight bit. A normal person wouldn't be able to tell the seat has been moved, but my father... A normal person wouldn't be able to tell the seat has been moved by my father, but I know my car, and I notice any little detail that's out of place. Yet tonight the seat hasn't moved, but I still have that feeling like something just isn't right. Hey, Chalice. I clutched my right hand to my chest and let out what I thought was a small scream, but it turned out to be a rather loud gasp. The bell sound coming from my dash display screen along with a giant green picture alerting me that the maintenance is needed for my car was the cause of that gasp. It looks like I need to get my tires rotated. I forgot I set that alert, and it couldn't have come on at a worse time. As I absently push a button to get the alert off my display, I realize my headlights aren't on. I wonder if it seems darker than usual. No wonder it seemed darker than usual. My left hand moves to turn the knob so my headlights can illuminate more of the darkness as they create a circle of light in front of my parked car. My eyes glance to the gauge to see if my engine is warm enough so I can get out of here. Damn, it's still too cold. Although my Nissan compact SUV is fairly new, it never was the same after I first bought and then drove the 12 hours from San Jose, California all the way to Vancouver, Washington, and back again a few days later with my friend. The road trip was fun, but ever since then, The road trip was fun, but ever since that, my car has been a bit fussy, or whiny as I like to call her. No matter how hot or cold outside, I need to warm up my engine before I leave, or else she starts jerking and lurching forward at like 2 miles per hour. It's almost likely a transmission problem. I don't have the money to get it fixed right now. Hell, I barely have the money to keep her filled with gas and insured. Let this be a lesson to not buy a car right off Craigslist again. That uneasiness starts to creep up again and starts to wrap around me like a blanket. My eyes want to glance up into my rearview mirror, but I'm too afraid of what I might see behind me. So instead, my hands look for my cell phone. Left pocket, empty. Right pocket, yes, got it. I slide my phone out just before I was about to click the screen, I hear some movement coming from behind me. My phone slips from my hands and lands next to my seatbelt buckle and beside the cup holders. I panic, and fear gripping my heart, I quickly release the parking brake and put the car into gear, and hoping that the car would be warm enough so I could so warm enough to go. I started driving away back towards home, still freaked out of my mind, but again, trying to drive as normally as I could manage. The streets were deserted, which was a bit unusual for this time of night. Yes, it was late, but normally there would be a few cars on the road with me as I made my 30-minute drive home. A few clubs and bars should still be open, I think. Still, I usually pass at least someone now. I make a left at the upcoming green light and chance a glance into the back seat via the rearview mirror, but I couldn't make out anything unusual. The green from the stoplight made odd shadows through my rear-tinted windows, as it was only a quick glance. The fear grip on my heart loosened a tad as I merged onto the freeway. I clicked the volume button a few times on my steering wheel as I got to the fast lane on Highway 101 North, hoping the song on the radio could help calm me down. To my dismay, all the stations I was tuning to were nothing but static, which sometimes happened with my car. The antenna was cracked, and the CD player was broken, but tonight, of all nights, I really needed some music to drown out my thoughts. I still kept the static on in the background, but lowered the volume significantly in hopes that eventually, before I reach home, I'll get any music back. Still, the thoughts began to race as I put a little bit more speed under my wheels. I'm sure I heard something back there. Must have. Didn't I? But there's no way someone could get into my car. I only have one key, and I never let it out of my sight. My key fob is blue, so I would have noticed if it went missing. Did I press the button twice by accident and unlock all the doors? I'm always so careful. No, I must have imagined it. I'm getting those old internet stories about girls being murdered when driving home alone at night. I'm letting them get to me. High beams behind me cut my last thought off, and now panic begins to fill my body once more. I quickly changed lanes, and the car behind me did the same. I sped up, so did it. I went back to the fast lane, and the car did the same thing again. Back and forth, the high beams danced in the mirror of my car until about my 7th maneuver, when it finally zoomed away and exited off the freeway. I was now in full-blown fight-or-flight mode. My throat was dry, so I mustered up all the spit I could, and I swallowed hard as I kept on driving down the empty freeway. I was only a few exits away from my exit, but my eyes were scanning the road for any signs of red and blue lights. If only I could find a cop, I could try to get his attention, and maybe he could check my car for me and possibly give me an escort home. Cops usually help out damsels in distress, right? Especially on such a dead night as this. I didn't dare check my rear view mirror again, or even think about turning my head to look into the blackness that was my back seat. I kept my head forward as I zoomed down the freeway at almost 100 miles per hour. At this moment, I could risk a speeding ticket. I would risk a speeding ticket if it meant that a cop would rescue me from this foreboding and terrible feeling that was taking over every cell in my body. Please, someone, help me. Reluctantly, I had to slow down when I exited the freeway, but that didn't stop me from running any and all red lights I came across on my way home. My knuckles were almost white as I gripped the steering wheel, but they regained some feeling and color back when I had to move them to turn my car. Still, I kept clinging on to a shred of hope that a cop would come up behind me, flash his lights, break the static with a few quick bursts of his siren, and pull me over. Sadly, I was getting a free pass to disobey traffic laws this night. I was rapidly approaching my street. There was only one light and 4 blocks away, but then I began to wonder, what would I do once I got home? Would I have the strength to leap out of my car and run into my house? Could I even do that before I get a knife to my throat or a bullet to my head? Am I even sure that there is someone back there? With one last left turn, I make my way up my street towards the house. The radio was still a static buzz in the background as I parked my car outside of my house and curved the wheels away from the curb. I set the parking brakes so my car wouldn't roll down the hill that it was parked on if my regular brakes failed. My engine was still running, yet my car was in park, My hands were frozen to the wheel, and I just stared straight ahead into the back of my sister's trunk. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to alert someone with my horn, but for the life of me, I couldn't will my body to do it. If there was someone in the back seat, then he surely knows by now that I know he's there. After a short eternity, I finally mustered up some willpower to pry my hands off the steering wheel. My right hand finds its way to the key and turns it all the way to the left. The motor turns off, but the cabin lights haven't turned on yet. I'm still sitting there in mostly darkness. The radio background static is replaced by a singing, loud, drawn-out beat that's akin to the sound of a heartbeat monitor when somebody has pulled the plug on the machine and it flatlines. I realize my headlights are still on. My left hand proceeds to turn them off, and simultaneously the flatline stops while the cabin lights flood the inside of the car with light. The doors automatically unlock as I take off my seatbelt. I'm a bit amazed that nothing has happened to me. Surely the suspected killer in the back seat would have done something by now. I mean, I had given him ample time. Though, I feel a bit safer now. I still feel like there's someone in my car. A surge of bravery courses through my body as I open the door and step out of the car. As I take a few somewhat shaky steps towards my back door, my eyes only see mostly darkness through the tinted rear door window. My hand grips the door handle for a moment, and with a deep breath I open the door. There's no one there. I scan the length of my back seat, now flooded with light. It's empty. I don't understand this. I was so sure that someone had to be there. The driver's door to the left of me shut by its own accord, and that's when my eyes scanned the floor of my back seat. A loud scream flew out of my mouth as my eyes landed on a body laying on the floor of my back seat. There was a dead body on the floor of my car. My scream didn't seem to echo into the quiet, still night around me, which seems strange now that I think about it. My eyes were glued to the dead body laying on its side on the floor of the back seat. It wasn't until I peered closer that I realized that, to my shock, the dead body was me. The end. That's pretty good. Nice, a lot of really good suspense on that, a lot of really good, build up on that. It felt a little bit like a creepypasta, but I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's a pretty good story. I give it an A. On a normal grading scale, I give it an A. So that was Backseat Driving by our regular little squishy. I'm gonna be posting this up onto my YouTube in the not too distant future. Probably not tonight, but tomorrow when the embargo that Twitch holds on videos is finally removed. If you guys are looking for the Halloween tree, that has been posted on YouTube now. It's also going to be here on my Twitch for another few days before Twitch dumps the old videos like it does. Thank you for joining me this evening. We're going to try to make this a regular thing. What I'd like for you guys to do, any viewers out there, or any viewers who may be spying on us right now, if you have a short story, if you have a poem, a creepypasta, a funny story, anything that you would like to submit to my channel, feel free to go on to Discord. My Discord is... let's see here. That's the invite to my Discord. Feel free, jump on there. You can come in and say hi to people, and then just send me a message or something like that with a story, and I will sit down and I will read it live. Try to choose some appropriate background music and read it live for you guys. Conversely, if you would also like, I can read it. I can just do an audio recording and either send that to you or post that on YouTube. It's up to you guys as to what you would like to do with that. The other thing is, if if you just want the audio recording, don't want it public, I can make it be that way. I do have a rule, rated R or below. I'm not going to read any erotica aloud on stream. If you want me to read erotica for you, like if you have an erotic story and you want me to read it, I will do that. I can read it, and then I'll just quietly send you the file. I won't actually post it anywhere. And the reason for that is, this is a quote-unquote family channel. Not really, but it's a, what was it Dahlia likes to say? It's a Christian stream. So, well, the big thing is I don't want that stuff so much on my channel, but I'm very willing to do that for people. And that's it. Thank you guys again for joining me. Happy Halloween. Happy belated Halloween. If you are interested in contributing to the Extra Life is still going on. You can see the link down below, the blue box that says I help children. Feel free to click on that at any point. And the money is still there. It'll be going until at least the end of the week. Other than that, I hope you guys have a very good evening, and I will see you all very, very soon.